Okay, it's fight week for one of Suffolk's biggest global sporting stars. UFC star Arnold Allen returns to the cage at UFC 297 in Toronto this weekend, where he faces the unbeaten Movsar Evloev. Arnie, thanks very much, first of all, for taking the time. I know fight week is a busy time for you. Whereabouts are you, first of all? Because last time we spoke ahead of your last fight against Max Holloway, you were back in Suffolk and you were driving up and down to Birmingham every day, Renegade training for that. But now you're back at TriStar, aren't you, in Montreal?
Yeah. So I've been training this camp in Montreal.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the fight being in Canada, just the training partners and the style of guys I have for this is very different than the last couple of fights. It makes most sense to be out here for this camp. I have a lot more training partners, similar build, similar style. Back home, it's kind of at Renegade. It's more like tall strikers, kind
Mm,
of perfect for the last few matchups with Max, Calvin, and Dan. Uh,
yeah,
kind of worked perfectly being back home for those guys. But yeah, for this camp, being out here is it makes more sense, and it's only a 45-minute flight down the road, so that's nice.
absolutely. And what's the weather like in Montreal? It's pretty cold this time of year, isn't it? You got snow everywhere.
There's a lot of snow,
Yeah.
but it's been pretty mild this winter. It's like I don't even know. Let me see what it is right now. I think it's like minus. It says -9, right?
Oh, lovely.
It says -9. A few years ago when I was coming here for my camps, at this
Yeah.
point it was like -30. So
Wow.
I'm not complaining at -9. It's not bad.
Yeah. And obviously we're not too long ago from Christmas. What's Christmas like for a fighter? When you're preparing for a fight early in the new year, do you get to have much of a Christmas? Can you indulge in the old
Yeah,
Christmas
well,
turkey? Or
I always have a cheat day on Saturday to sort of break the diet up. So if Christmas is like Monday, I kind of
yeah.
just get to celebrate it on Saturday with the food anyway. Uh,
Okay. Cool.
but no, I've been professional since I was 18, so a bit over 10 years now. So
yeah.
I've done a few camps over Christmas, and yeah, it's just it's all fun and it's whatever. I'll have Christmas dinner in January. That's all.
Yeah, nice one. Post fight, you can
Yeah,
enjoy, you
that's
can
it.
indulge post fight. Before we get to this fight, then Arnie, just reflect on your fight with Max
Mm.
Holloway, an icon of the sport, obviously.
Yeah,
Last April, wasn't it? I think it was.
yeah.
Um, your first defeat in the UFC, facing a guy who will go down as one of the best fighters there's ever been, certainly in your division.
Mhm.
Um, Now you're a few months removed from it. How do you reflect on that? Because it was a really close fight. You definitely pushed him. You showed that you belong at that level. But ultimately, you tasted defeat for the first time. So how do you look back on that now?
Yeah, it sucks. It still sucks. Um, like, probably with a win there, I would have most likely fought for a title in this time.
Hmm.
I would have probably made at least a nice $1,000,000
Yeah,
fighting for that title. Would
yeah,
have probably changed my life drastically. But, no, that really stings. It's a big kick in the balls, but more than losing the money and losing the opportunity, just losing
yeah,
sucks. Like, that's barely crossed my mind, the other stuff, the thing is just getting back to winning ways and getting back into that title picture,
hmm,
and, yeah, I don't wanna feel that feeling again, and, this when I was offered this opportunity, it's tough, undefeated guy, but I see a lot of, I see a lot of ways I can beat this guy, and also a win over him, I see that put me straight back in that title picture, taking out an undefeated guy who they're probably this is a contender fight in a
yeah.
so depending on who wins, like, we'll be back in that title picture. Well, I'll be back in that title picture.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Evloev then. As
Mm.
you say, he's one of these kind of up and coming contenders. A lot of hype behind him. I think he's 17-0,
Yeah.
7-0 in the UFC, so he's never lost.
Mm.
Um, what do you make of him as an opponent? Because looking at his record, yes, it's very impressive. But I think all 7 of his wins in the UFC have come via decision. So he seems to be a bit of a grinder, someone who tends to do the full 15 minutes. Is that what you're expecting from him as an opponent? When you look at him, what do you think he's good at? What do you think he's not so good at?
Yeah, no, he's good everywhere. Obviously, it's obvious what he does, likes to do, but he's improving every fight.
Mm,
Every time I watch him, he looks better than the last one. He's very confident with that undefeated record, and he's going to come out there and try and stake a claim for a title shot, like myself. I want to go out there
Mm.
and press. But after doing 5-5s with Max, I'm prepared to do 3-5s at a high pace. And the last couple of camps were 5-round camps, so to do 3-5s, I'm very confident in my conditioning and my ability to push the pace for 3-5s. Your first
Yeah.
sort of 5 rounder, you're kind of a little bit like, well, how hard can I push? And
Yeah.
doing 5 with Max Holloway, and then getting to the 5th round and being like, I could push a lot more. I'm feeling good. So for 3 rounds, that's yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, 5 rounds with Max Holloway is the ultimate cardio test, isn't it? If you can do
Yeah,
that, then
yeah,
I think you're going to be okay in
exactly.
future. So, in terms of facing off with Evloev, I watched his last fight against Diego Lopez, who had quite a lot of success standing up,
Yeah.
punches and kicks. Clearly, you're a very, very good striker, very accurate.
Mm.
And then Evloev did his kind of takedown kind of stuff, which you'd expect from him. Is that how you're seeing this fight? Do you think that you're going to have the advantage on the feet, and you're going to have to be kind of defending lots of takedowns?
Um, yeah, Diego Lopez is a very different fighter to myself.
Mm.
And it was short notice for both.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
that messes you up as the fighter when you're preparing for someone. You've done a 8-week camp, and then the last minute you get a different style. So that kind of it's
Mm.
hard to take anything from that fight. Diego Lopez very good, and obviously Movsar was very good too. He shut him down and cancelled out his submission attempts and got the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't. It's a very different fight. A very different fight. Even his striking style is very different than mine. I just think the MMA, the everything, my wrestling, my boxing, my jiu-jitsu is going to be better. Not one particular thing.
Mm, mm. What do you make of the division as a whole, Arnie? Because we've obviously you said there that you win this and you're straight back into the title picture. There's a dominant champion who has beaten pretty much everyone.
Mm.
Beaten Max 3 times, and Max is obviously still up there as well. He's going to fight Ili Topuria.
Yeah.
Um, what do you make of the division, and what do you think will happen in that Volk Topuria fight?
Uh, I don't. I don't like how soon he's took it after that knockout. To be honest, but
Yeah,
not if you could rest from the fight until his next fight, it wouldn't be the worst.
yeah,
But kind of like there was only a couple of weeks leeway where he could have took time off to jump back into camp because what is it February? Is it February 20th or something?
something like that. Yeah, end
Yeah,
of February. Yeah,
yeah. So it's not a couple weeks after me. It's going to be 10-week camp for that head kick knockout. You probably want to take a good few weeks, what 4 weeks off
yeah.
sparring. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea, but he knows himself, and I just hope his legacy isn't. He doesn't lose based on like that. We'll never know, right? You never know.
Mm.
If he loses, it might just be that Ilya's better than him. If he, yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a
He's a
tough.
guy. He's a guy, Volk, isn't he? That's spoken, I think, quite openly about how much he needs to compete. He finds
Yeah,
it really difficult not having a fight to work towards. So, I guess maybe with the way the last fight ended, he's just taken the first opportunity to get back in there
yeah,
and fight again. But time will tell. In terms of your own year ahead, Arnie,
yeah.
you're getting one in early here, obviously January the 20th.
Mm.
And you've not been, because of injuries and stuff like that, you've not been the most active fighter. Are you looking to have a really active 2024? Will this be the first of several fights, ideally for you?
Yeah, definitely. Ideally, two would be nice. Just two's a good number,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
But yeah, I was hoping to fight on that bit earlier than January, but they offered me 16 weeks or a short notice fight, and I was just like, well, I'm not taking a short notice fight.
yeah.
I guess we'll go in January. So yeah, everyone always like, oh, you need to get more active, you need to fight more, and I'm like, I'd love to, I'd love to, but if the UFC go and you're fighting in 4 months, I'm like, okay, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
You kind of have to suck eggs and do what you're told.
And there's clearly in a few months there's a huge event, UFC 300, which I think is April, isn't it? Middle of
Yeah,
April.
yeah.
Is come through this unscathed? Is that something you'd be interested in fighting on, a big kind of historic bill like that?
Yeah, it'd be cool, but I don't think they want me on there, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think they want. I think they want trying to stack it top to bottom, and I'm main card opener on this one, and I don't think they have a spot for me. Fuckers.
Ah, I'd like to see you on there. I think the whole of Suffolk like to see you on there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the other things I want to talk to you about was trash talk in MMA. I saw some interesting comments from you around the issue of trash talk. Now, clearly, in combat sports, trash talk has always been a part of the game, right? You go all the way back to like Muhammad Ali and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And then Conor McGregor clearly had a huge impact in that regard in MMA. But
Mm.
just recently, it feels like the trash talk has got a bit dark. Like
Yeah.
there's obviously Sean Strickland. There was a back and forth with Ian Gary about his wife, and then Colby
Yeah.
Covington went really dark around the Leon fight with his dad.
Yeah. Good
What
stuff.
do you make of all that? I know you hate trash talk because you said it's not me. It's not something I like to do.
Yeah.
But we're seeing the likes of Leon and Tom, certainly from a British point of view, kind of behaving, I guess, in a kind of more respectful manner and not doing so much of the talking. Is that the kind of the path that you'd like to see more of?
Yeah. It's yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I've seen some videos of people saying some stuff. So yeah, it's quite funny. But
Yeah,
like when it's funny, right? Like, you
yeah,
say, something, but then I find it was people that it doesn't come natural to. They're the
mm,
kind of guys that are like digging deeper and they're saying something dark. And also it comes from people's like their insecurities in their ability, right? Someone wants to
yeah,
get under your skin the while you're up. They need an extra edge to try and make something happen. Like with Colby saying what he said, obviously that was full to get Leon off his game plan and get him
yeah,
heat. And credit to Leon, he went out there the most composed and maybe even too composed. He was so relaxed, he
mm,
controlled the whole thing, didn't show any animosity or anything like that. It was amazing. But yeah, unfortunately, the fans they want to see a lot of fans want to see people talking crap
mm.
and that draws attention. So it is good. It is good in a way because you want more fans, you want people watching you. But I don't know things like that. There's definitely a line. There's definitely a line. Like it's fine to say something funny, but you definitely take it too far, and it's like, what's that's not funny or anything. So
Yeah, and it's not particularly good for the sport either, is it? I mean, I'm sort of telling people about how great MMA is and the culture of respect running through it, and then you see Colby Covington bringing up like Leon's dad, and it's
yeah,
not. You go, what you kind of people who are new to the sport look at that, and go, what's that all about? That's not,
yeah, yeah.
that's not really cricket, as we'd say. So,
No, exactly. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think this. I feel like if it's funny and you stick to your opponent, you talk about them, whatever,
Yeah.
that's fine. But when you start bringing family and things like that, pointless.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then back to this fight. Then I'd imagine Evloev. Obviously I don't know a lot about him, but I'd imagine there's not going to be much trash talk from him.
Mm.
Um, how do you see this fight playing out, Arnie? We said before that he tends to go the distance. He's clearly a tough guy, never lost. Do you see this being a hard fought 3-round fight? Is that what you're mentally preparing yourself for?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you've got an undefeated guy in there, they're full of confidence and they're undefeated for a reason.
Yeah.
He's undefeated in the UFC, not just like local circuit as well. He's been there for a while, building
Mm.
himself quite a good win streak. Comes from a good team, got a good heritage of fighting. Good family history of fighting and all that. So yeah, it's not going to be easy to rip that O away from him. So he's going to fight hard for it. But I'm prepared for a tough 3-5s, and I'm just planning to control it everywhere. Everything I can do, every situation on the feet, on the ground, on the fence, wherever.
Yeah. No, I mean, the UFC are clearly expecting it to be a good fight because you're the first fight on the main card, aren't you? Which tends to
Yeah,
be where they traditionally put a fight that could well be a fight of the night contender, and
yeah,
also fighting in Toronto in a big arena. What that's going to be some experience, isn't it?
yeah. It's gonna be nice. I I've been to Toronto a few times. It's because it's all English. I kind of
Yeah,
enjoy it. It's, I'm not allowed to say because their hockey team is they're blue as well, aren't they? The Maple Leafs, they're
that's right.
blue.
Yeah, yeah.
So I keep threatening to wear a Maple Leafs jersey, but uh, I think my family in Montreal would disown me. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. You allude there, of course, to the blue and white. I have to. It's contractually obliged now, as my role. I have to ask you about Ipswich Town because we know you're a big Ipswich Town fan. Ipswich Town doing very well. I see you tweeting about them. I see you sharing pictures of you training in the Ipswich Town tops.
Yeah.
What's it like out in Canada, Arnie? Trying to follow Ipswich Town. Is it easy to follow clubs like Town out there?
No, so actually, I've missed most of the games because most of the time, if it's on like it's sometimes on the zone now. And now they're in the championship. It's nice.
Yeah.
they get like a featured game on the zone or whatever, or I get the iFollow thing.
Yeah,
But most of the games I seem to be in the gym. But the last week or so, it's been like a deload week, and I've been
yeah,
like backing off, sort of training. So I
yeah,
caught the game the other day against Sunderland. Was it? Yeah, and I missed the one before. But yeah,
yeah,
I missed it. So I'm just sort of I have it on my phone, and it would just literally like pop up on there like 1-0 or 2-1. I'm
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. So it's hard to follow, but I'm looking forward to getting home and watching live.
Yeah. Is that the plan post fight? You're going to come back to Suffolk for a little bit?
Yeah, no, I'll be back for a while. Be back for a while.
Superb. Right, then let's finish with a prediction then, Arnie. You said obviously it's going to be, you think, a 3-round fight, but you just think you're going to essentially just prove yourself to be the better man in all aspects and take a decision, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, always looking for the finish, of course,
Yeah,
but always ready to do 3 5s as well. 5 5s, 3 5s, whatever they need.
superb. And what does the rest of the fight week look for you like for you now, Arnie? It's Monday. You fight on Saturday. You're in Montreal at the moment. When do you travel to Toronto? How much media have you got to do? How much of a pain in the ass is that when you're trying to cut weight?
Uh, yeah. So weirdly, because the last 2 fights before, I was the main event, and then the two before that, I was co-main event.
Yeah.
More media stuff for the main event opener of this one than I do for those fights. So
Wow.
yeah. So today I've just got an easy session, just
Yeah.
tick over, break a sweat. I don't really train too hard on the fight week, and then tomorrow I fly out to Toronto. It's like an hour flight maybe. So then I got media as soon as I land, meet the team there and everything. My one of my training partners, Louis, is coming out with me. So
Hmm.
just rehearsing technique and going over with things. Yeah, he's a great training partner. He's gonna drive down, meet me there. Big Pace is coming out with my brother, Lee Catlin. All these guys are gonna have the team out there, and yeah, just media, and then I'm gonna sweat my ass off. Sweat my ass off Thursday night, weigh in Friday, and they have a Nando's in Toronto,
Oh,
so
perfect.
I think I'm gonna get a post weigh in Nando's.
They don't have Tesco's out there, no meal deals for you.
I think so, but they do sell Tesco's products here somewhere in
Okay.
like I don't know what you would call it, but like imagine like a Debenhams sort of shop.
Yeah.
They have
Okay.
like Tesco products in there in like inflated prices, so you get like 50p Tesco biscuits for like $5 or something.
Right.
It's pretty mad, yeah.
You can refuel with some of that then after you've
Yeah,
weighed in, maybe. Superb. All right then, Arnie. Well, safe travels. Best of luck with everything. Obviously, the whole of Suffolk will be behind you. I think you're on around 3 a.m. I want to
yeah,
say
yeah. I
UK
think
time. Is it?
10 because it's gonna be 10 p.m. Card opener.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 3 a.m. because it's 5 hours, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So worth staying up for, friends.
Yeah.
It will be live on TNT Sport, obviously. Arnold Allen, Movsar Evloev, UFC 297, about 3 a.m. on Saturday. Best of luck with it all, Arnie, and hopefully see you back in Suffolk and down Portman Road soon.
Yeah, yeah. I will be. I will be.
Superb. Thanks, mate.